Hey everybody. So I've got a few comics here. I mentioned in the last video that I'm going through a little bit of a backlog. Some of them are a little bit older, but I haven't read them. Bought them, didn't get a chance to read them. So I've got a few here that are interesting. This one's Scarlett Couture. I don't remember how I got this one. I think maybe I saw that it said, Mark Miller says, beautiful, I love this style. And we'll see about that. I got this one actually a long time ago. I don't even know if this was last year. This might have been a couple of years ago. Newburn. This looked pretty cool. It's Image. It's Chip Zdarsky. I could be wrong. I think he was famous for Daredevil. He did some Daredevil. I know he's done a lot of stuff, I think. And looks like David Lynch is a detective. So that seemed pretty cool. We'll see. And a little bit of superhero stuff here. This is Dawn of DC, The Flash. This actually maybe late last summer. I just got a chance to read it finally. Kind of interesting. One of the things that I'll point out, I think the reason why I got this, because I haven't read Flash in a long time. When I was a kid, I think I read some classic Silver Age Flash that I saw from maybe some parents or aunts and uncles that had maybe one or two issues, not anything too crazy, but never really got too much into the Flash. But this is by not only the cover, but the interior is by Mike Deodato Jr. And he did the art for Amazing Spider-Man for a little while there in the early 2000s. And he did a cover for Amazing Spider-Man 514, and that's probably my favorite cover. Even though my favorite artist of Spider-Man is obviously going to be somebody like Todd McFarlane or Eric Larson, that might be my favorite cover. If I get a chance, I'll pull that out in one of these videos, and maybe we'll look through that one. A little bit of flashback there. But he's a very good artist. We'll talk about him a little bit when we go through this. Also, haven't read it. We're not going to fully read it. We're going to glance through it. Yes, I've got a few Silver Age comics that are just kind of out there. They're random. I didn't collect these on purpose. These were ones that I read at my grandmother's house. We called her Mimi. And there was a bunch of them that I read at her house along with my siblings and my cousins when we were little. And I asked her for these and she gave me them. And they are cool. A lot of them were from my mom. I'm not sure this Batman one was collected by my mom. She had Supergirl one that I'm going to do in one of these videos. It's pretty cool. But DC House of Mystery. I think that's pretty cool. I think they used to do some pretty cool stuff back then. People just think about Adam West when they think of classic Batman from, I don't know if this is the 60s or the 70s, but either way, they did a lot of cool stuff that people have just forgotten about or never knew about. Look at that menacing character right there. I love it. Okay. And quick sneak peek. Next video, I will probably be doing this Daredevil #1. This one's more recent. I think it's November of last year, so it's only like maybe 3 or 4 months back, not like a year back like some of this might be. I've always liked Daredevil, read some of his stuff here and there, but I have heard people say that Daredevil has been kind of a consistently good story-wise just because he's a good character and that you really should read him. This one and the Flash one, even though this is Marvel and that's DC, they're doing this stuff again. Let me see if I can focus that. Can't really see it, but it says it's issue #1, but it's Legacy 662. So I guess it's just not another new series. They just like to put one on there so they can get people to buy it. Okay, I guess it worked. We'll see. That'll be next time. All right. Scarlett Couture. I don't know what that means. I guess her name is Scarlett. Guess she's into fashion. She likes guns. I know one of the reasons why I got this is because it's a spy one. There was also a James Bond series, and I was going to get it, but by the time I found out about it, it was already halfway through, and I didn't want to go back and get the back issues. But maybe I'll look for a trade paperback of that. Spy stuff is pretty cool. This is who does this? Titan Comics. I'm actually not very familiar with Titan Comics, and after reading this, I'm kind of thinking that they're kind of in the, exploitation cinema type stuff. Like I don't think they're the ones who do Red Sonja. Is that Boom? I really don't know, but they do something like that. They do something along those lines. So I got in, started reading. Actually, you know what? It's got a whole thing here that I didn't even read. This looked kind of boring to me, and I just now noticed it. That probably would have explained a lot, but I got through it anyways. Right off, random fan service for no reason. There's a lingerie show. Why? I don't know. Maybe that's a character. Maybe that's a story point. Not in this issue. All right. The art. It's not bad, but I'm not a fan. This is like Cartoon Network. I like comic books, and this is more along the lines of, like Archer or something, which, not a bad show, but it's not a comic book. It's not a comic book that Mark Miller is praising because he loves the style. I guess he likes Archer, which is cool. So they're in Argentina doing some spy stuff. That's pretty cool. Don't know what's going on. Doesn't matter. It's kind of just some action. Some Archer's side chicks, it looks like. I'll be honest. I think this girl, I got confused with this girl, and I think this girl is this girl. But I think it's a trio. I think it's supposed to be like Charlie's Angels. There's something they say in here. They call somebody a name that made me think, oh, that's the guy from Charlie's Angels that they would, I don't remember the name. Bosley? Is it Bosley? There's somebody like that, and I'm like, oh, that's Bosley. The art is interesting because also I don't know what's going on here. These textures might be kind of hard to see. Like the textures don't quite match the like Cartoon Network style. Like it looks like Avatar: The Last Airbender or something. And then they've got like this really realistic texture that's a little bit like not in focus. And there is some interesting like not in focus. So they're doing some cool effects. Like whoever is doing the editing on this, there's not very many lines either. And I mean, I'm a classic comic book guy. I like classic comic books. I'm open to a lot of stuff. But this just doesn't get me going as much. It's too much, there's not really hard lines. Everything is soft. It's like a cel-shaded video game, which I like when it's a video game. Lots of crazy action and all this. I have no idea what's going on. I read all of the words. And then randomly, I don't know, she's coming out of a shower or something. Okay. And then, look at this face. That tells you everything you need to know about this art style. Really? Okay. And so, this broad gets whacked. I don't know which one that is. She's one of the dark-haired ones, which I guess is not the main character. The main character is blonde. She survives. Looks like she's jumping around. And I think there's only 3. There's something interesting here, like because it's a blonde girl. I think it's supposed to be a redhead and a brunette. Got to have all 3. And crazy action and stuff. And then somewhere in here, so then there's this the dark-haired girl. I think this is the brunette. So this kind of more reddish-haired one got killed. Where's that even at? It's back here somewhere. I think it's supposed to be reddish hair. I can't really tell. Maybe she's the brunette, and this is the black-haired one. She's the jet black-haired one. I don't know. Anyways, you got 3 different hair colors. And so I'm trying to decide if that girl with the black hair is this girl, because they both got black hair, but they dress very differently. But this is like the girl that she's Spider-Man's Ned, it looks like. back there. She was like she was the chair guy. And so key fob, and boom, she gets destroyed. So, okay. I guess it's like Mission Impossible. Everybody gets killed, and then Ethan Hunt has to come in and figure out who killed everybody. I think that's what's happening here. But, you know, to me, it's a little bit misleading. I'll tell you why. Because part of the reason, I think I might actually have an alternate cover. I don't think I got this one, although that one looks really cool. I think I got that one. But, like, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily my thing, but yeah, cool. You know, bullets with the lipstick. You know, target. I mean, the cover looks cool. This cover even looks pretty cool for a spy cover, although this is kind of the art that we're looking at. This art looks great. I should have got that cover. I really like that. That makes me want to buy it. But it's not really that good, so I don't know. I think, yeah, I only got the first one, and that's good. So that's kind of, I don't know, I think that's kind of random. I've heard of Titan Comics. I don't think I have any Titan Comics, but this one. Hey, maybe it's your style. If you like that Archer Cartoon Network style, you like spies, you like fan service, then yeah, this might be your thing. Everybody likes fan service, right? Okay, so now Newburn. I had a lot of high hopes for this one because this cover looks cool. Man, covers, come on. Good cover can actually be the worst thing in the world because a good cover can really get your hopes up. This one looks really cool. And it's Image. Image does some good stuff. Chip Starsky. What am I looking at? That's not the art I was expecting. I'll be honest. Gets a little better, not much better. It works, I guess. The coloring's very muted, not exciting, but it's not muted in an artistic way. I think it's supposed to be. Like if it gave me a really dark feel, like look at this. Look at this cover. Yeah, if it was more like that on the inside. But, you know, it's readable. It's good. I think it's better than the Scarlett Couture. At least the overall design. I don't know. I feel like you can't quite fill the faces out as well. You know, I wish I could draw this good, but that's a very low bar. So this guy's trying to figure out who killed this person. He's a detective. You start thinking, yeah, he's in, you know, there's a lot of dirty cops around here. And you're thinking, well, maybe he's just trying to survive without becoming a dirty cop. And there's mafia. He's tracking down the mafia to figure out, you know, who killed this person. And then, you know, spoiler alert, you know, it's interesting. It's mostly talking. The most exciting scenes are like he's in this lady's kitchen. He's out on the street. You know, not a lot of great set pieces. You know, not a lot to get excited about color-wise, but it works. And the dialogue is not bad. So anyways, basically, what you find out, and this is a spoiler alert, is that Newburn is he is a dirty cop, but he's one of those, like, he makes deals with the bad guys. He makes deals with the mafia, and he kind of extorts the mafia. And that's kind of cool, actually. And so then he, you know, finds out, okay, so this is the girl that killed the dude. And she did it, I don't even remember, what did he say? It was pretty interesting. Yeah. Smelled something under the cheap cologne, fresh paint, maybe a week old. Tore that place apart looking for drugs. You said you saw him run down the hall after the gunshots, but he must have spent a good 10 minutes looking for the coke, yeah? Were you looking out your door that whole time? Carmine was too stupid to hide the drugs in the wall. Someone must have given him the idea. Someone who shared a wall with him. Then she puts a gun to his head. Don't you move. You set him up. Even took the bullets from his gun so he didn't stand a chance. You moved in here just for this, didn't you? Honestly, it's impressive. Shut up. Why are you here and not at the station telling the cops this, huh? Who are you? My name is Easton Newburn. I'm on retainer to all the major crime families in the city. Someone steals from the Flying Dragons, I find out who did it. Someone murders a Russian mobster, I find out who did it. Nobody touches me, that's the rule. I'm a UN inspector wandering through a war zone. That's pretty good. I'm enjoying that. The artwork, and he says, I want you to work for me. That's the clincher there. So where this is going, I don't know exactly. Is it going to be more of this girl because she's going to work for him? Is it going to be them teaming up? How much is Newburn going to be in it? I keep wanting to call him something else. Looks interesting. The art didn't necessarily sell me, but this is a great example of the art was good enough to convey the story. And it did give you the feeling, like, I wish it made me more excited or more gloomy or more dreary. I don't know, one of these things. But it just kind of gave me the set. Okay, this is where we're at. This is good enough. But the story's not bad. A little bit of a slow burn, but then, because you don't really know what's going on. You don't know if you care yet. Not anything to kind of excite you even from the beginning, in my opinion. But by the end of it, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. I could read that story. So I might get the second one, track down the second one. It's been a little while. Do I have the date on this? November 2021. I hope the back issues aren't expensive. All right, so the only thing that really gets me, though, about this is, so it's advertising for the next chapter. Cool. Well, then what the heck is this? I don't know what this is. This doesn't make sense. Is this a preview for the next one? Is this something else? Is this a fun little story? It's different art. It looks really terrible, in my opinion. I just don't like it. Ouch. But that guy looks kind of like, I don't know, a little bit like Chip Zdarsky, right? So maybe that was about him? Probably not. Kind of looks like Van Gogh. Anyways, I will probably actually try to track down a copy of the second issue. See if it gets better, because it was intriguing by the end of it. All right. Dawn of DC, The Flash. And I had my suspicions about what Dawn of DC meant, and this one with a Legacy 801. And I was right. I guess this is kind of like the new 52. It's the new 20, because the 52 comics being launched is that's a little too difficult to do this day and age. The art is cool. Let me get that focused for you. It may not be for everyone, but it's classic comic book art. It's got the shading and even some of the penciling technique, just the way the characters are drawn. Very classic comic book. There's even, let's see, obviously he does the feathering really well for the shading, but look at this. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, look. When you go get something at Marshall's or Burlington or wherever, TJ Maxx, and you get the thing to put on your wall that has, like, Captain America or Spider-Man, the background is going to be these little dots, because that's classic comic book texture. So that's kind of cool. And I don't know how much of that is Deodato Jr., but I know I've seen stuff like that on other stuff he did. He's done some stuff for AWA Upshot, which is artists, writers, and artisans, something like that. They're kind of a cool little indie comic company. I don't put stuff out quite as regularly because they're very small, but they've done some cool stuff, and he's done some stuff with them. He did some covers for some cool stuff, and then he did one. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was about, like, a mom whose daughter was kidnapped. She's like a trailer park mom, and then she just goes Punisher on them. It doesn't even make sense, because she's doing stuff that, like, a Navy SEAL would know how to do, maybe. But she's literally just a mom, and there's no backstory that she was a Navy SEAL or anything, or with the mafia or cartel or anything. But it doesn't matter. Suspension of disbelief, and it was a really fun one, and he drew it very well. but it's the same style. And so I don't remember, like the cover he did for Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 514, which was my favorite cover of Spider-Man. Very different. I wonder if that was more because of the colorist taking over, and maybe even the inker removing a little bit of his shading. The pencils are amazing though, so either way, I love it. It was really good. But this is very, very interesting. I really like the shading, and it really comes through really well on the Flash. Look at that. Look at that classic shading. And his stuff is not the most detailed. He adds more detail than like what we saw in those last two comics, but he doesn't get detailed in the way you might expect with somebody who is that competent at shading. He still leaves, the faces. It's almost like tracing a face. There's a lot of detail left out, and maybe it's almost like a washed out face in the light with very deep shadows. Maybe that's just the style, but that's what he does a lot here. Wally West, who is the Flash. Wally West, I believe, was the Flash's sidekick, and now he's the Flash. And so Wally West, played by Chris Evans in this one. So there's enough detail that you can tell that Chris Evans is playing him. There is also a lot of detail on this dude. I had a double take. I mean, he's sitting down everywhere else, and then he stands up, and you're like, oh my goodness. He does not skip leg day. In fact, he does leg day every day. Whew. So anyways, I like the art. That's what I like about it. The beginning of it, there's like gorillas. He calls them gorillas, like guerrilla warfare and gorillas. And they're like space gorillas or space-time gorillas. I don't know is this a recurring thing in Flash? I'm not aware of that. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But one of the big plots here is that Wally West has a super family. The kids can use Speed Force, I guess. Maybe that's not correct, but they definitely have the powers. The mom, I think, doesn't, but they imply that, I guess, in some previous issues, while she was pregnant with the third kid, he imbued her with powers while she was carrying him. That sounds kind of cool. I kind of want to look back and see if I can find some issues about that and read that story, because that story sounds kind of cool. And so now she's just, she's bored and depressed because she was kind of like a superhero while she was pregnant. Then she gave birth. Everybody else is having fun. Look at that. Doesn't that hit kind of hard? I don't know. Maybe if you've had kids, whether you're a mom or you've just, had kids and seen your wife go through some of the things that they go through when they give birth and try to figure out what they're doing and what they want to do. This was written well and was very interesting because you read it and you really kind of feel for her. She feels like a prisoner, kind of trapped at home while the rest of the family's out being superheroes. And that's kind of interesting. It's kind of a good story point. Society has not fixed that. It doesn't even address it very well. And that's even if you don't have superheroes in your family. So there's some good subplots in here that they don't quite get to. I think you're going to get to probably over the next 20 issues or something. They're introducing several different things. There's some stuff here. I don't know a whole lot about this. At the very beginning, this stuff was called him Quicksilver. I recognize Quicksilver, but he's got other names. And then this other little dude. So man, look at that buffalo. Look at that evil buffalo. That's pretty cool. Good art. But I think there's a lot of stuff that they're just going to kind of explore, because obviously this is really issue 801. So they're keeping things going. They got to keep things going. You can't get rid of everything right off. This dude comes out of nowhere. Don't know who he is. Look at that Dawn of DC. She's more Amazon than woman. Oh my goodness. The muscles are not a problem. The problem is that her head is tiny. Oh my goodness. But I'm sure people are have been so excited about Dawn of DC and where this has gone. Yeah, so he, this dude comes out of nowhere and punches him, and I don't know what he was trying to do or who he's supposed to be. The monkeys go crazy. Then some space-time crazy stuff happens, and then that dude gets obliterated in space-time, and nice flash drawings there. And then this thing pops out, and I guess these are the space-time baddies that they're going to be fighting. That could be kind of cool. Give me more of this and less of those gorillas, and I'll be interested. Then they got a little preview here for Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. That's 2 verses. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Cool. Clark and Lois are talking, and then, oh my goodness, Godzilla in Metropolis. And then the Justice League is like, well, guess we got to deal with that. So, yeah, interesting. It has some potential, but it is kind of the ongoing series of if you haven't really been following or you're really going to be able to get into it. I was reading that Dawn of DC was supposed to kind of be done in a way that you could draw in new people and kind of get them in without kind of the baggage of everything in the past, also bringing in some minor characters that didn't get very much attention. Maybe the gorillas are minor characters, but not ones I'm too interested in. And, I didn't feel like I was able to just jump in and be like, oh yeah, this is cool, I'm going to start collecting the Flash. It's got some cool subplots, and I would collect it for the, David Otto Jr. art. But otherwise, it is what it is. It's okay. Kind of excited for Daredevil, but I'm more excited for this. It's been beaten. I read this so much when I was a kid. I'm probably one of the reasons why it's not in great shape, and that's okay. I still keep it in this so it doesn't get worse, but I don't mind flipping through it. Man, I love the old ads in comic books. Batman. Do you dare enter the House of Mystery? Especially when some kind of creepy dude right there is kidnapping a child. Batman better enter the House of Mystery. Oof, man, this is going to be hard to open. Wow, look at this art. I mean, that's cool. People don't draw like that anymore. People draw similar. You can see some of that with David Otto Jr., for instance. A little bit of that older style, but some of this was just really good. Some of the older style was like, that's okay. And some of it was awesome. They put their heart into this. I guess that's Commissioner Gordon. I haven't read this one since I was a kid, probably. I'm not even sure I read it. I probably just looked at the pictures. There were some of them I do know I read. Here you are, son. My name's not Son. It's Sean. How could you make that mistake? I guess Sean sounds like son. Ooh, Poseidon. This is not what's in the original story, is it? Was that just to get you in? I want to see where the creepy dude is. Look at this. Is this like a leprechaun ghost thing? Interesting. Yep, here we go, guys. Mighty Muscles. Let's do it. Yeah, the one that you always saw in these old comics. They were in a lot of Spider-Man ones, especially. It's like the nerdy kid who's really skinny, and he gets beat up at the beach by the Chad, And then he becomes a Chad by clipping out a coupon and sending in 50 cents. 50 cents is probably way too much. Probably like 10 cents. I don't know. I mean, how much was this? 15 cents. Why would he pay more than this comic book to get ripped? Whoa. Batman. Okay. I love the Batman with the blue cape. I love it. Classic. And the blue was really just to be like, well, that way we can do some shading on black. I believe that was the reasoning. But I don't care. It's cool like that. Oh, what's going on here? That's cool. The Batman raises his eyes to the distant ruin and sees... I don't know what I'm seeing. Sean, he's heading... Oh, Sean's here still. Oh, Sean's the kid that gets kidnapped in the cover. Is this the guy? Is this the guy with the gloves on in the cover? What a creep. Pumped. Nice painting. A Scottish dude with a huge beard. Oh my goodness. Love it. Whoa. What's going on here, Batman? Jumping on the bar. Made your choice yet, Batman? Your final choice? Impossible. How could you have known that both beakers contained deadly toxins? That the real antidote is in that tube? Somehow, you made a life-saving guess. No matter, though. I'll shoot you in the face. No, it says, you won't fully recover for another minute. Plenty of time for me to put a bullet through your brain. Well, basically what I said. Nothing can save you. Nothing. Goodbye. Except the Scottish painting. Whack. How did that even happen? No matter. He saved the kid. Batman may never know, but we do, eh? King Hugh is gone, but not far, and he can't stand anybody disturbing his rest. Ooh, what a dastardly villain. Very cool. The Brave and the Bold. There's a new Brave and the Bold series from last year. The new Batman movie, I think, is going to be called Brave and the Bold. I have some of those, the new ones from last year. They should bring back DC House of Mystery. They probably have, and it's terrible. But if they haven't, they should do it. They should get somebody cool like Greg Capullo to do it. You know, he does some pretty dark stuff. He could do pretty cool, like horror stuff for DC House of Mystery. He did some crazy stuff with Batman turned into the owl in the New 52. That was actually pretty creepy. But this was cool. I like these old ones. I've got some other cool ones. What I really like is the horror ones and the sci-fi ones. I've got one that I'll probably pull out sometime where it's like somebody is towing the Earth. Like it's a planetary towing service, and the Earth gets towed away because it was in the wrong parking spot. It makes zero sense, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, this was kind of cool reading this old one. I think I just looked at the picture. I recognized the pictures. I had no idea what was going on based on when I read that when I was a kid. So this was kind of cool. Kind of cool to go through and actually at least skim over a couple of the pieces of dialogue. That hand looks weird. All right, so anyways, thanks for watching, and put in the comments if there's anything that you would like me to look at, anything that you think would be pretty cool to go through. I'm going to go through some older stuff. I've also got, I need to find where it's at because my kids ran off with it, but I got the Superman, I think Superman versus Meshi, is that what it's called? where it's a manga where Superman flies to Tokyo for his lunch breaks to have Japanese chain restaurant food. And it is wild. So when I find that, we'll review it. And when I get a chance to read it, I've also got a Batman manga, Batman Justice Busters. So I've got a few things that I'm looking at that are pretty interesting. I might also pull out some other stuff that I like from the past. I think I have the trade paperback of Hotel, which is a AWA horror about a haunted hotel. Mike Deodato did a cover for it. I actually have that one, the one where he did the cover. It's very cool. All right, thanks everybody.